In addition to his thriving practice, coaching, and mentoring, Dr. Mike Chua, PT, DPT, also helps dementia caregivers through his books, online seminars, and live presentations. Today, he shares with us how he expanded beyond patient care and helps other healthcare professionals to do the same. Through his many resources, he inspires and equips healthcare professionals to discover the many alternatives out there. In this episode, he also shares with us how to improve our influence and impact and his mentor principle for success. Welcome to the Stay at Home Nurse Podcast. I'm your host, Deanna Cooper Gillingham. For over 25 years, I've strived to use my nurse credentials to find work that fit my lifestyle. Whether it was raising my 4 children and 3 fur babies, traveling the world, or moving to Mexico and living on the Caribbean Sea. Sometimes I succeeded and sometimes I failed, but I always learned from the experience. Now, I want to help you by sharing what worked and what didn't work. There are so many opportunities out there for nurses today. The Stay at Home Nurse Podcast will inspire and equip you to have a nursing career that is meaningful and supports your lifestyle. Now let's get started. Today we have a special guest for you. You are not going to want to miss this episode. We have Dr. Mike. And Dr. Mike is a physical therapist who actually teaches people how to get alternative healthcare careers. So, of course, you knew I had to have him on the podcast. Hello, Dr. Mike. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello, everyone. If you are, again, watching and or listening to this podcast, first of all, thank you very much, Miss Deanna, for having me over. It's really my pleasure coming over because you are doing a great job, an awesome job in changing people's and touching lives in your awesome podcast. So, but me, I'm a physical therapist, and after graduating 1999 PT school, I decided to, not practice PT. I practiced self-PT. I PT'd myself and because I can't find a job, and I became a pharmaceutical rep, and that was my alternative healthcare career. And then after working for 10 years being a pharmaceutical rep, I decided to go back to our field again because our field, our profession, in healthcare itself, you just can't get out of your first love, which is patient care. And if you are a nurse, a therapist, a physician, or any healthcare worker, you will always go back to your first love, which is patient care and passion, because we're all passionate about it. And then finally, when I worked as a physical therapist again, I got burned out again. I'm like, gosh, is this our thing? And I just realized we can still find an alternative career for us wherein it's still related to our profession. And that's the reason why I reached out to Deanna, reach out to different people who have their alternative careers and finding that passion, finding that purpose, and eventually you will follow up with your profits. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love it. And just full disclosure, I was on Dr. Mike's Facebook. He does like a Facebook Live, YouTube, all in one. He's so much more advanced than I am in that world, but he does an awesome job. He has a huge community, a Facebook group, and probably other things also of healthcare workers who want to find alternative jobs. And he just has a wonderful group in there. So tell us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, because, well, thank you for asking that and for me to share that group. We have this group called Alternative Healthcare Careers for Rehab Professional, because when I was in the other groups, in the regular PT, OT, nursing group, and they would always ask, is there any alternative careers for us therapists? Are there any alternative career for us nurses? And they would be like, oh gosh, there's nothing. And so we started creating this group of, different therapists, the nurses and healthcare professional. And I just said, hey, let's just start this small group called Alternative Healthcare Careers for Rehab Professional, wherein I interview different people that has alternative careers. Some are like me, we have what you call the Certified Dementia Practitioner group. Some are like utilization reviewer, like, your group, Miss Deanna. Some are like people who creates courses. Some are people who are being speakers for different conventions. Keynote speakers and stuff like that. Some are Pilates instructor, and some are just people how to teaching people how to open up their own practice. And that's basically the group. And then whatever they ask, for example, hey, Michael, we want to know more about personal training. because obviously, nurses, therapists, we're all qualified, and you've got all this other personal trainers who finished like a 2-week certification course and they're earning like $100, $200 per hour. And here we are, nurses and therapists, and we're getting paid like 20, 30, 50 bucks an hour. And we are the most qualified people to be a personal trainer, right? We know all the anatomy, the physiology, and everything. So we would bring other people who are actually therapists who are doing personal training. And we'll ask them, hey, how did you do this? How did you start it? And then boom, we create some sort of a webinar, some sort of a course, and then we sell it inside the inside the group. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I got to look at all the different things you have, and your group is amazing, very responsive. That's one thing I think we have in common. Both of our groups they grew fast by word of mouth, and people help each other. They're like some Facebook groups have a bad reputation where, people can be kind of nasty because they're not, actually talking to a person. But both of us have really, I would encourage anybody who wants to look at alternative healthcare jobs or positions to really look into Dr. Mike's group, because they're very supportive and very helping of each other. And it's really an awesome group. I was very impressed with what I saw. I was also very impressed with just the wide range of alternative healthcare careers. You pretty much touch everything from entrepreneurship to, like you said, utilization review, case management. We have a lot of therapists in my case managers community, because that is one of the things that they do sometimes is case management. And to be certified, you have to have a license that allows you to do an independent assessment. So that physical therapist, speech therapist, occupational therapists all fall into, even respiratory therapists all fall into that group. And when they do take the test, they have a little bit more trouble because they're like, well, I'm not a nurse. But you don't need to be a nurse, which is so great about that. But I digress. So you actually have your own alternative career right now you're doing with your dementia. And I'd like you to talk a little bit about that. What exactly are you doing? Is it a practice? I haven't talked to you about this before, so I'm going to learn along with our audience. Is it a practice? Are you doing kind of like I did with books and courses? What are you doing?
You know what? That's a great question, Deanna. So when I was working at the nursing home, a lot of the patients, the therapist, the other therapist, and the family member, they would always ask me, "What is dementia, Michael? What is dementia? What is Alzheimer's?" and everything like that. And I just really got tired on explaining Alzheimer's and dementia, and I'll be like there, talking to them like an hour or two, explaining to them what is Alzheimer's and dementia. So I just recorded myself, and then I said, "Well, this recording here could be a book." And then I found somebody, hey, can you translate this recording? It was a regular phone recording. If you can record yourself, ladies and gentlemen, your phone, obviously if there's a patient, you get the consent. But if it's just you record yourself and have somebody transcribe it, and that becomes your book. And then that audio book, that recording, obviously it's not my voice. So that book became an ebook, and I started just giving out, emailing it to them. And I said, it's so tiring to give this email. How do I make it easier for me? And then I said, somebody told me, hey, you just have to create a website, Michael. So I created a website, drmikechua.com. So what will happen is that if somebody asks me, hey, Michael, what's Alzheimer's or dementia? Oh, just go to my website, drmikechua.com, and download the book. And then everybody was just downloading it left and right. And they said, Michael, we want like a physical copy. So I found somebody who helped me publish it and everything like that. And then now I just give out the book like a business card for those people who wants the actual book itself. Well, to make the long story short, people want more, right, Deanna? They want more. Some people,
Absolutely. Yes.
they just want the book. Some people, they want to read it. Some people, they want to just read it in the computer or ebook. Some people want to listen to it, so there's a recording. And some people, they want an actual course wherein they watch you and listen to you. So what we did is we created that book to a PowerPoint presentation. So that same PowerPoint presentation is the same stuff. I talk, I read, and expound on it. And then different assisted livings, different nursing homes, patients, they could buy that quote unquote video course and for a very affordable one, like $37, I think. And then they buy it. So they get the ebook, they get the paperback, and they get the actual course itself. Now, if they want more, one-on-one, then I provide my one-on-one telehealth coaching online. I provide, therapy wherein I bill Medicare directly, Part B. And then we also have that we create, not me, I partner up with another group called Alzheimer's and Dementia Support Group. And we have 31,000 members in that group. And I'm one of the administrators. And we basically go there once a week. We teach people about Alzheimer's and dementia. It's a free video and everything like that. And if they want our services, obviously we give our ebook for free. We raffle my book for free. And if they want to buy it, they can buy it at Amazon. And then we also do telehealth in that group. So, yeah.
That's amazing. I love that you just told that story, because I kind of a little bit got into the weeds of how I started my business, but it's pretty much the same thing that you did. And people that listen to this podcast will know that I have a love for entrepreneurship. And I think healthcare workers make the best entrepreneurs, because we do it for the right reasons. We do it because we want to help people, and as many people as we can. And the fact that we can make a career out of it or a business out of it is like a bonus. And you did exactly what I did. You just started meeting a need. People were asking questions. You were answering the question over and over and over again. And you realized that there should be an easier way to answer the question, instead of you spending, you could waste an hour. And I hate to say waste, but you could spend an hour, invest an hour of your precious time explaining to people one-on-one. But when you write a book, now you're taking that same 1 hour block of time and you're able to reach hundreds, if not thousands of people. And then the same with your courses. And then you're teaching other healthcare professionals now so that they can go out and teach more people. So you as one person are reaching thousands of people. And I think that's just amazing. And I think more, it's great that we can talk one-on-one with our patients and with our colleagues, but when we can reach out and talk to many and just change many lives, it's so much more impactful. Not that we want to impact every one of those single lives, but we also want to empower more people to impact more lives. And that's how we really grow. I'm so excited to hear about that. That's just, it makes me happy, because I like to hear other people are doing the same thing and finding the same success. And I want to encourage listeners that if there's something that you explain a lot, and even though you think it's common and everybody knows it, or of course everybody doesn't, no, everybody doesn't know it. And it's something that you could teach and you could monetize that. And if you're looking to get away from the bedside, this is your way to get away from the bedside.
That is so true. I love what you said there, Miss Deanna. We as healthcare practitioners, whether you're a therapist, a nurse, we are not trained to be entrepreneurs. But in reality, we are the best entrepreneurs in the world. You know why? Imagine if you're a nurse convincing a patient taking that pill that they don't even know what that is. If you're a nurse or a therapist and then you got this Alzheimer's patient and you can convince them to at least take off their sleeve and you injecting them or something or giving them something, that's the best salesman in the world. Exactly. You're able to convince them. So if you are, if you're thinking, oh, I can't do sales, I can't do this, just go back to your passion. It's like what Deanna said, just go back to your passion. Everything will follow. Everything will follow.
And the one thing I found with sales is it's really not, it's not selling as much as it's informing. It's letting them know, just like we have to let our patient know the benefit of following the treatment plan. And we have to let the buyer know the benefit of whatever we are selling them. And I got to see one-on-one firsthand when my mom was in rehab, what an amazing job all the therapists do, and how patient they are, and how they relate to the patient on an individual level and encourage them and keep them focused on their goal. Therapists are awesome with goal setting. I think even more so than nurses, as far as, keeping the patient focused on the goal so that they don't want to go to therapy. It's hard work. You are telling them to do things that they don't want to do. It can be painful. It is tiring. And yet every day, I see everybody that was in that therapy room. I was able to attend with my mom every single day. Of course, this was pre-COVID, and just see how awesome, not just with my mom, because we were sitting there, but even people who didn't have a loved one with them, they treated every single one of those patients the same. So I just want to thank you and your profession for what you do for our patients.
Well, thank you for acknowledging that. But I think that's a good rehab facility that your mom went to. So that's good.
Yeah, yeah. And I know that, just like anything else, there's good and there's bad out there. But when I see something good, I really like to focus on the good. And I think you're the same way. You like to focus on the positive things. And speaking of focusing on the positive, you not only in your group do you encourage them to find alternative health careers, but you're kind of like a mentor to them, and you're a cheerleader, a mentor. You inspire and you equip, and you actually have an acronym. I'm not sure if this is something that you just tell us more about your mentor.
Well, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. We as healthcare professionals, we we had a mentor. We always had a mentor, and we looked up to that mentor. When you're starting your own clinical practice, we had a mentor, like a CI or a clinical instructor. And the best clinical instructor that we had are those the people who mentored us. So what we did, okay, we needed a coach, we needed a mentor. So we just, out of nowhere, we just did a mentor acronym. Where if you really want to find your alternative career, you have to be a mentor. So letter M is meeting a need. How do you meet a need? Find a problem. When you find that problem, then you can find a solution to it. So meeting a need, meeting a niche, just like Miss Deanna, their niche is actually how to be the best utilization reviewer or whatever. In my case, my meet a need, my niche is actually Alzheimer's and dementia. So you just have to find that need. You have to find that problem, ladies and gentlemen. And then you go to the next letter, which is letter E. You educate. You educate those people in your specific niche, because you need to find that specific niche. Because if you're serving everyone, you're not serving everyone. You cannot serve everyone. You got to find that specific niche and go from there. So in my case, Alzheimer's and dementia, and I do educational stuff. So Alzheimer's, we educate them. How do you educate them? We educate them by our podcast. We educate them by our YouTube show. We educate them by our books, our courses, our webinars. So that's letter E. And letter N is learning how to network. You network with those different people who are actually doing it, because you cannot do this on your own. So what I did is reached out to Alzheimer's Association, the local association. So I speak for them. I do free educational stuff once a month, and I would network with them. I would reach out to different authorities like Tipa Snow. She is the best, because you can't compete with the best. What you need is to network with them. So what I did, hey, Tipa, can I attend your courses? Can I attend your classes? And she said, yeah, Michael, I see you. And you can't compete with them. If you cannot beat them, you join them. So you network with them, ladies and gentlemen. So for example, in my case, I'm teaching, right? So what I did is I went to another association called National Council of Certified Dementia Practitioners, and I've networked with them. So I'm like with Tipa Snow, with network with the CDP group, and then I would also network with different Montessori for dementia. So there you develop that network, ladies and gentlemen. And what's the next letter? Is letter T. You have to find a team of winners that will help you, because you cannot do this on your own, ladies and gentlemen. In my case, I have to have a team. I have a virtual assistant team that helps me promote my stuff. I have, even in our clinic, I cannot do everything. I cannot do the reception stuff. I cannot do the treatments all the time. I do the evaluation. So I'm sure Miss Deanna, she has a team. The lady that
Absolutely.
logged in on earlier, she has a team. So if you really want to be the next level healthcare practitioner, you have to find a team, ladies and gentlemen. And the next letter, I'm almost done, Deanna. Next letter is letter
No,
O.
I love this. I love this. Yes, I love the explanation. Do a good job. We're good
There
on
you go.
time. We're good on time.
Next letter is letter O. What's next letter? Letter O is one-on-one. One-on-one coaching. You need to find a coach, ladies and gentlemen. Deanna, she teaches people how to be a better nurse, how to be a better healthcare practitioner, how to be a better utilization reviewer. And I'm sure before she's teaching you, she had a coach too. Same thing with me. In order for me to be a good leader, I have to be a good follower. So you need to find a coach, ladies and gentlemen, so you can follow and mimic that person, because you cannot just make a big wild guess on how to start your own side hustle. You need to find somebody who's going to teach you and guide you. And last but not the least, letter R is repeat it. You have to do this again and again. If you just your motivation in starting a business is just like bathing. It's if you do it one time, it's only good for one time, but you have to do this again and again and again, ladies and gentlemen, because repetition is the key. Why? Repetition is the mother of learning. It is the architect of results, and it's the father of action. Oh, I think I messed it around. It's the repetition is the mother of learning, father of action, and then the architect of results. If you want results in your business, you have to do it again and again, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Deanna, I'm sorry. I keep on talking.
No, I love that. And I heard that for the first time when you had me on your show. And when I heard you explain that, I was like, okay, I have to have you on the podcast, because you take something that I think is very complex and you make it very simple by putting it in that mentor acronym, because these are very important steps and every one of them is important. And even, like as well as you, I've had many coaches, and, when the first time I got a coach, I thought, oh, this is like stupid. Why do I need to pay somebody to help me along? And then after I had my first coach, it was almost like an addiction, because you see the results you get and how much faster you get those results. And they push you to go further than you think that you can. You think that you can get from here to here, but they're saying, oh no, you're going to get way down there, and I'm going to walk you through it, and I'm going to help you. And so when I heard that there was somebody else that kind of had the same thoughts that I had, I was like, yes, this is, and he explains it. I feel like you explain it so much better than I do. So I was really anxious to get you on to inspire the nurses that are out there, the healthcare professionals that are out there, that yes, there is so much more, but you have to get over the fear and you have to follow this simple mentors. I mean, everything that you said, for just give it to them one more time, going through each letter and what it stands for.
Oh, wow. That is so amazing. I'm writing everything down, ladies and gentlemen. I'm being interviewed, but I'm actually writing what Miss Deanna was talking about. Oh, gosh. I like what she said, ladies and gentlemen. You need to really find a coach. Just like famous basketball players, LeBron James, or who's this awesome golfer, Tiger Woods. I'm sure they have coaches. Michael Jordan. He wouldn't reach his peak without a good coach. What's his coach name? I forgot. Never mind.
I'm more of a football player than a basketball
player. Even the most awesome football players, ladies and gentlemen, they wouldn't achieve their full potential if they didn't have a coach. Those coaches, they are not as talented as those players, but guess what? They were able to see their full potential. You as a healthcare worker, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're a nurse, therapist, physician, watching and listening right now, you have so much potential in you. All you need to do is find a coach that will bring out the best in you. And the only way for you to be able to look at the bigger picture is you have to get out of that picture itself. Just like a picture, I have a picture of my family there. If you're inside that picture, you cannot see the bigger picture. You cannot see it if you're inside the picture. You cannot see the frame itself. That coach will actually guide you. Oh, this is how you do it, Michael. This is how you do it. This is how move to this side. Yes, this is right, because your coach are the best person that will push you to your next level. And Deanna mentioned about failure, ladies and gentlemen. There are two types of failure or fear: the fear of failure and the fear of success. I would rather have you have the fear of success, because the more you fail, ladies and gentlemen, the more you get rejected, the closer you get to your successes. So you just keep doing it. You just keep doing it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I'll stop talking, Deanna.
No, I love it. I love it. And Dr. Mike and I could talk all day because we have such an affinity. We are right on the same wavelength. And a lot of the things that you brought up just now just inspired me also. I think one of the things people don't realize about having a coach is I like to learn from other people's mistakes. And when you talked about failures and coaching, that kind of brought it together for me. If I can learn from your mistakes, so instead of me making 10 mistakes in my career, I'm going to make 3 mistakes because I learned from your mistakes, and I'm not going to make the same ones that you made. I'll still make mistakes, but they won't be as drastic. And the fear of failure, the more you fail, the less you fear it because you
Mm.
realize failing isn't that bad. I just had a discussion with my oldest son about this, and I had homeschooled him. And when I didn't really believe in testing, I believed in deciding, do you know it or don't you know it? So we had to figure out a way of deciding whether they knew. And sometimes it was a test, and sometimes it was just like, okay, go do this and let me see if you can do it. But what I told him was anytime that he didn't do it right, I would say, okay, well, you figured out how to do it wrong. Now let's try it again and see if you can figure out how to do it right. Because it wasn't about, okay, well, you got a grade and the grade is bad. And that's what we teach in school. We teach you a fear of failure. Because if you go home and you have an F on your report card, you're going to get in big trouble. And it's that fear of failure. And instead, no, it's like, okay, well, you learn how to not do it again. And just instead of failing and passing and going on to the next thing and hoping you do better on the next thing, no, figure out, why did I fail at this? Is this something that I want to succeed at? If it is, let me figure out another way to do it. And so I encourage, the first time I wrote, I didn't do a great job at it. The second time I wrote, I didn't do a great job at it, but I kept doing it and I got better. And I'm sure, Dr. Mike, the first time that you had a patient and I'm sure you didn't do everything 100% perfect like you would do it now. Like the first time I started an IV, it wasn't the prettiest sight in the world, but I got better because I kept doing it and I got over my fear. And now I sit on the couch and look at my boyfriend's veins and like, oh man, I haven't been able to start an IV in so long. I would just love to get those veins. So it's, I took something that I was very afraid of and I made it something that I actually love doing now because I just did it over and over and over again. So do you have something like that an experience like that where something that you were afraid of and you were able to get over it and now you love it?
Oh yeah. I mean, I like how you shared that your son's story about, the fear of failure. And I think the schools, brainwash us that, if we fail, we're a failure, right? Even
Right.
the
It's
word
bad.
itself.
It's bad. It's a bad
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
When you get an F, it's F and it's failure. I'm like, gosh, my kids were like that too. My wife, she's a tiger mom, Filipino, Asian, and she was like really strict with our kids. And I said, we got to teach our kids learn how to accept failure, learning how to accept rejection. And there was a time they were so good in school that they were all A's and they would win competition, they would win speech contest, and they were so confident. And I said, someday I want you to learn how to fail and accept defeat. And they'll, no, Daddy, I'm so good. I'm not going to fail. And one time my daughters, they didn't win the competition, and they were so upset and mad. And I said, well, you sometimes in life, I call them anak. Anak means daughter or son. Call them anak. You have to learn to accept fail because when you go out in the real world, not all the time you will win. You will fail. You will fall. But those failures, that falling, treat those tests as a testimony in the future. You will encounter some stumbling blocks along the way, ladies and gentlemen, but treat those stumbling blocks as a stepping stone. You will encounter some setbacks, but those setbacks are created for your setup. And same thing as a nurse. The first time you actually went to a patient's room, guess what? I bet you were so shaky in getting their vital signs. You didn't know even the simple way of testing their pulse, and you didn't even know. And you were so conscious about it. And the more you do this, starting your business, starting your side hustle, finding your passion, the more you do it again and again, guess what? It's going to be so easy. So you just keep failing, ladies and gentlemen. When you fail fast, get up fast. Thank you, Miss Deanna.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you. Well, we've covered so much today and we're getting to the end of the show. So I want to ask you one more time to go over the mentor acronym and just give us a real quick what each letter stands for.
Amazing. Well, thank you. Letter M is meet a need. MEET, need. Meet a need. Letter E is educate. Educate those people. Letter N is network. Network with those awesome people that you know. Letter T is find a team. Team of winners. Letter O, get a one-on-one coach. Get a one-on-one coach. And letter R is repeat. Do it again and again.
I love it. And that is a great place for us to end the show. Is there anything that I missed or I forgot or anything else you'd like to tell our listeners real quick?
Well, we always say the word fast, F-A-S-T. When you fail fast, you get up fast. Letter F, find friends that will push you to your next level, ladies and gentlemen, because you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So who are you hang out with? Today, I hang out with Miss Deanna. I feel like I'm really awesome right now. So keep listening, keep subscribing to this podcast. So letter F, find friends that will push you to your next level. Letter A, you got to learn how to take action. All this stuff that we're doing, this is a free show, free podcast, free everything, right? You got to take action, guys. Reach out to Deanna, reach out to me. We're going to help you find your alternative career. And letter S, shoot for the moon. Why? Because if you keep shooting for the moon, you're going to be eventually landing with the stars. The more you shoot it, ladies and gentlemen, the more you're going to miss it, the closer you get to your star. And last but not least, letter T is teach it. Why? Because the more you teach it, the more you understand it. Because when you hear it, you forget. When you see it, you remember. But when you're actually teaching it, you're actually understanding it more. And that's what Miss Deanna is doing here. She's teaching us how to be an awesome healthcare provider. Thank you, Miss Deanna. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. That is awesome to leave us with. And I appreciate that little extra there. That was great. I do want to make sure people know how to reach you because your website and your Facebook group is outstanding. If you're listening to this podcast and you want to know what else can you do with your credentials, you need to reach out to Dr. Mike. So what is the best way for them to do that?
Oh, yeah. They can go to our website called alternativehealthcarecareers.com. I know it's so long, but that's how we did it. Alternativehealthcarecareers.com. And in Facebook, you can search there inside Facebook, Alternative Healthcare Careers. And then on my email, you can reach out. My assistant's email, Tasha@drmikechua.com. So Tasha@drmikechua.com. Or you can also check our website where we sell my actual alternative career, drmikechua.com, if you want an example of how to be a dementia practitioner, because I also teach people how to start their own dementia practice or something like that. So yeah.
Oh, so you are a true entrepreneur. Okay. Yes, I will have all these links in the show notes to make it easy for everybody to find you. And again, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing this wealth of knowledge. Dr. Mike also does Facebook Lives twice a week, I believe, and he does a YouTube channel also?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They take care of it.
Yeah, his team takes care of it. It ends up being everywhere, but you really need to watch him. He's awesome and he has so much energy. It's very inspiring and it equips you to actually make the change. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Mike. I really appreciate you taking the time on your Saturday to record this so that we can all be inspired.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you, Miss Deanna. You have a good day.
Thank you.
I hope you've loved listening to Dr. Mike as much as I enjoyed speaking with him. He really loves helping other healthcare professionals to find alternative healthcare careers. Be sure to check out his Facebook group, Alternative Healthcare Careers, as well as his website, alternativehealthcarecareers.com. Just a reminder, we have all the good notes in our show notes. Just scroll down in the Apple Podcast app and you'll see the notes on Mentor and all the other juicy information Dr. Mike gave us. Also, if you're checking us out on our website at thestayathomenursepodcast.com, click on the podcast link and you'll be able to find the notes for this episode there also. To make sure you never miss an episode, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And one last thing, I would love it if you would leave a rating and review. I'm sure Dr. Mike would love it too. Until next week, adios from beautiful Puerto Aventuras, Mexico.